A long time ago, junior high and high school, me and my friends kind of came up with our own rules for a superhero game. And, I drew some of the characters over this period of time. Some of them came out lousy, some of them came out okay. This is just a sketch here of one of the main heroes of the game. This one here I titled The Dream Team, and there's a bunch of villains in this. Some of them, I apologize maybe a little bit to Marvel and DC for some of the names and all that. This one here was called The Skull, Dr. Destroyer, Fire Squadron, Death, Thornman, this right here was Super Duper Man. We had some fun. All right. And apparently they had an invitation to Black Slicer, which was another villain at the time. And of course, just like kind of the other comic companies, here's Black Smasher, term 50 years murder, whatever. But of course, they'd end up escaping long before they served their time. With robots and everything guarding them, they got out quite frequently. This one here is called Narrow Escape for the Absorbing Man. And you've got one of the main characters there, Mammoth Destroyer, looking down alleyways for this guy. This one I like a lot, although the villain in it has 3 heads. And then there was a human group, sort of like the equivalent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that, that would go around trying to capture these guys. This one was called Arms, and they're throwing canister grenades at this thing, not having much luck. This one here is splattered against a tree. And there's another agent up on a roof getting ready to shoot at him. Disturbance at Central Park. This one's just kind of humorous with a little cheesecake. Of course, I'm terrible at anatomy. This one's called Oh No You Don't. Crusher, Dextro. They're trying to capture this girl here. Her name was Intensity. I'm terrible. And then Simon is saying, hold on to her. No one gives me a black eye. He has that like kind of mustache or whatever. This is one of the first original groups called the Crusaders. And some of these guys are looking dopey as hell. Diamond Fist. We got Not There Is There, which was our version of the Vision. Star Rider, who was probably our equivalent of the girl in the Teen Titans. Can't think of her name. Seagull. Sticky Lou. I think his power was sort of like Paste Pot Pete's in the original Marvel superheroes, where he had a gun that fired this quick drying, like incredibly hard glue. And then I apologize, we just had a superhero called Comanche. Don't remember what his powers were. Here's some robot thing, whatever, I don't know. And it's, again, fighting Not There Is There. He tried to hit me, but I'm not there. Oh, jeez. So there's kind of a funny story behind this. One of my friends let me borrow like his father or older brother's Playboy just so I could get an ad for the Gremlin. So here we go. These superheroes are trying to get around town, and all they got is a gremlin with a name of Sensational 6 on it. Hi guys, I like my new used car. Beep, beep. And even the truck driver's like, hey, watch out, you're gonna crash us. Woo boy. Mammoth Destroyer buys a family car. This is a villain robbing a bank, and I don't remember the name of the villain, but here's a superhero crashing, destroying the front of the bank or whatever, and he's going to battle him for the loot. Again, my apologies to Marvel and the Beast on the X-Men. This is our own version of it. Free falling beast. Another superhero flying over. Just, you know. Okay, this is hilarious. This is Mastermind. Again, Alan Haven knows basketball. At the time, there was a campaign where it was just called, what was it, Bo, I can't think of his name, but it was, I can't think of his name. He was on the Kansas City Royals, and he also played football, and his career ended early. But Alan Haven, Alan Haven was the enforcer who controlled these powerful orbs. He was also an exceptional scientist. And these two guys here, when they teamed up together, it was a lot of trouble. Apologies to Mike and everybody here. This is one of the main villains of the game, the total opposite of Superman. He was called Super Duper Man. And it looks like he's just destroyed some sort of a factory. Year 8. So we did play this long after we were out of high school. Bunch of dumbasses. Every time we needed a break from, say, D&D, we would be playing this game. You'd play it for like maybe half a year or less, and then we'd get back onto it. Every time somebody died, that was a long-running character, it was always interesting because the heroes seemed to have the advantage in so many ways. But that was his death right there. Definitely a robot of some kind. Powerful. Whoops. Here's another image here. I think I got this as Hawaii. Thanks, Jerry. Take the rest of the day off. And what does it say? Here is your afternoon cocktail, Mr. Hyde. Hawaiian vacation. Yes, sir. These are some individual pictures that I made. There was a group called the Justifiers, and we played this up to 1990. I graduated in 1985, so just to let you know how childish we all kind of were. Here was a superhero called White Iron. You can think about whatever that meant. Cap, so our version of Captain America. Simply called the X-Man. Mammoth Destroyer. Again, Mammoth Destroyer could shrink down to like an inch or as high as I think it was like 100 feet tall. What's this? A Power Surge and Diamond Fist. Corny as hell. Again, I drew some cheesecake here. Her neck is way too long. And some sort of a cube. Interesting, because this is drawn long before the Avengers movie, but of course not before the I don't know, I think it was some sort of cube that the Red Skull and Captain America fought over way back in the 60s in Tales of Suspense, and then reprinted in I don't know what it was. It was like Marvel Double Feature, I think. So here's something I drew here. You've never seen a villain like Fear before. Apparently he had a power that came from his eyes, and you probably had to make a saving throw to not get affected by it. Whoops, still having trouble here to get one page at a time. All right, one of my main villains during this whole time was the Thorn Man, and he would lure groups of adventurers. He was one of those guys that could take on groups of adventurers. And apparently here he finally beats up on I forget, it was like our version of Iron Man. I couldn't think of his name, but anyway, all he's got to do is press a button to fry him, and you've got all these guys here trying to rescue him. Let's see. Here's another one. It says, "You fool! You've underestimated our enemies. If they reach my indestructible base, you're a dead man." Oh my God, no. Yeah. The whole deal with Thorman was that he needed that suit to survive. He was kind of an invalid without it. I mean, we did give them origin stories, but they weren't really important. It was all about, who could beat up who and all that. Again, this is, I think, the Enforcer, and he had these orbs, which produced this gas that could make tunnels like a knife through butter, and it could go through anything. Even the heroes weren't immune to the damage these things could do. So he was a dangerous villain. There was a group called Spectrum that also mimicked Armor Man. That was our version of Iron Man. And there was 8 of them. So when they got involved, the villains definitely ran and hide. And it says, and now Black Slicer. Me trying to ink this was probably a long time project. He had these discs that could slice through anything. So sometimes heroes would get limbs cut off. We had a table for it. I don't remember what happened to all that stuff. We used 30-siders for the game. 29 was double damage and 30 was triple damage. And here's a pretty good illustration, if I must say so myself, of a 30-sided die. And I think that'll sum up this thing. I can't decide. I'm in the middle of a move. I can't decide whether or not I want to keep these or not. But just a lot of fun reminiscing over some of these things that I've got tucked away here in the basement. They're not in very good shape anymore because you draw something and then what are you going to do with it? You probably used it for a game. And then, it's not usable really anymore. This was something I drew for D&D. It kind of let the players know where the entrances were to a building. I got some other illustrations here. Vensk was a vampire that controlled a steel foundry, or maybe an iron foundry. And this is just, skull. I got, again, one of my last superhero things here. Part of me wants to save this stuff, but I don't need it anymore. And I've cleared all these shelves out. There are all miniatures here. They're just about all gone. And I got, these guys were powerful followers of Raxivort on the Greyhawk world. This is just a cleric of some kind. And again, this is the first time that they came across followers of Raxivort. And I believe it was an apple cart. They were desperate for food. And he's like, I'm not going to repeat it. But anyway, he insulted them and then snapped the reins and continued on his way. So lots of fun. Have a great day.